What I'm about to show you is by far the laziest but also the most effective way to grow your YouTube channel right now. Because after growing over 30 YouTube channels in different niches like these ones on your screen, I was forced to figure out what is the easiest and most certain way to grow any YouTube channel in any niche. And that's how I discovered the Slack framework. So in this video, I'm going to reveal what this framework is and exactly how you could apply every step of it to grow your own channel faster, more predictably, whilst putting in way less effort. Starting with probably the most important part, which is stealing from others. So video ideas are one of the most important parts to growing a YouTube channel, and what most creators do for this is they'll come up with ideas from scratch. They stare at a blank wall and think, what would be a good video for my audience? Maybe even talk to AI to figure it out. And then they come up with a topic, a title, a thumbnail, they execute on it, and it flops. Now, the problem with this is that none of it was proven to work on YouTube. You don't know if that title works. You don't know if there's even demand for the topic that you picked. And how do you know if the thumbnail is good if it's not proven? So what you need to do instead is research across YouTube to understand what's working right now, what title formats are succeeding, what thumbnail styles are getting clicks, and also research your specific niche to understand what's actually in demand. And then, here's the lazy part, you steal these proven concepts from these other niches and apply them to yours around topics that are in demand where nobody has done them yet. You already know that they work, but there's a gap in your niche because it hasn't been done there. Let me show you some examples so you actually understand what I'm talking about here. So Simon Squibb made his most popular YouTube video here, 30 years of business knowledge in 2 hours and 26 minutes. And that video got over 15 million views. This was a massive video on YouTube at the time, and a lot of big creators saw this. One of them being Alex Hormozi, who then imitated that video in his own niche and did 13 years of brutally honest business advice in 90 minutes, and that got 3.5 million views, being one of his most popular YouTube videos. And he also did it again, 13 years of no BS business advice in 79 minutes, 2.7 million views. So he took that concept that was already working in a different niche, which was marketing, and applied it to his niche, which was business. And we even did this in the crypto niche with 7 years of crypto advice in 26 minutes. And there are countless examples of this exact format, which is this X years of advice in Y minutes or Y hours and minutes format, where it has worked outstandingly well. You can go on YouTube and find it very easily right now. Another example is this one here. So this channel Dea made this YouTube video, watch me make and sell a digital product in 10 hours. And then we took that same concept, applied it to this niche, which was the general business niche instead of the digital products niche, with watch me start and sell a service in 10 hours for this channel here instantly. And we got over 400,000 views, which actually beat the original. And then we doubled down again on a different channel in a different niche with this video here in the sales niche, watch me book 10 sales calls in 10 hours. And that got over 100,000 views. And even other channels like Nick Sarev copied this same format with this video here, watch me start and sell an AI service in 10 hours, very similar to this one, and he saw over 300,000 views, making it one of his most popular videos. And these formats aren't just found on big channels, they can actually be found on much smaller channels like this one here, Nathan Miller, where he got over 230,000 views on this video, speedrunning an entire Shopify store, brackets I show everything. And I believe this channel only has a few thousand or 10,000 subscribers, but this was a massive outlier for him. We took this same concept and applied it to the sales niche with speedrunning cold calls from $0 to first sale, brackets I show everything, and we got 267,000 views to date, which again actually beat the original. So you can see the pattern between all of these. You take something that's working in a different niche and then you apply it where it hasn't been done. And the great part is that after this research, you already have your title and thumbnail because you're using the formats that you found, you know it works, and it's unique to your specific niche because nobody has done it there before. And the topics just slot into that idea, and then that's your video. This is the most important lesson because it's extremely lazy, but it's actually one of the most effective ways to grow your YouTube channel. Moving on to L, which is lazy recording. So the first part of this is how often do you upload, which short answer is once per week. Most creators think more is better, and then they try and pump out as much content as possible. But the thing that you have to understand is YouTube rewards quality over quantity. The best videos get recommended the most because they keep people on the platform the longest, which is ultimately what YouTube wants. So you want to give yourself the time to create the best videos that you can. One video a week is the sweet spot because you get the whole week to think through the idea, plan it properly without rushing. You're not stressing trying to do 3 or 4 videos a week. But the key part here is that you actually use that time throughout the week. You want to be putting as much time into that one video as you can, and if you're cramming it all at the end, you're going to make a poor upload, and then at that point you may as well just be pumping out volume. Now the second part of this is having a simple permanent studio setup that makes it super easy to record. You don't want to be setting up equipment every single time you go to record, because that friction is going to make you way less consistent and make you resent recording YouTube videos. But at the same time, you don't want a setup that's so basic it hurts your video quality. So here's the setup that I use. I'll put it on screen now. For the camera, you can use anything. If you've got a great camera, then awesome. But if not, then your iPhone camera works. Camera is actually one of the less important things, and lighting is the most important. For lighting, you want a key light behind your camera at a 45-degree angle pointing at you, and it should be quite bright. For audio, you can use a desk mic like this one that I have that always stays there, or if you don't want one of these, you can just have a simple lav mic that you clip on. And last but not least, you want some sort of teleprompter, because if you're scripting videos, this is an absolute game changer. Without one, you're going to be looking at your script, trying to remember your lines, messing up, redoing takes, but with a teleprompter, you can just read naturally while looking at the camera. I personally use the Elgato prompter, but you can also use phone apps or cheap ones from Amazon. It doesn't really matter as long as you have one and it works for you. Now for the background, you don't want to be right up against the wall. You want some distance. And then you can have a light or some plants in the background to add some depth, because that depth is really important. I just have a light and it does the trick. This way, everything stays set up, you sit down, you hit record, and then you're done, right? You're not trying to build this perfect studio because that's too much hassle and it doesn't even make a difference. You want something that's really convenient for you and that's not going to damage your results. You don't want to be recording off your laptop webcam. Now moving on to A, which is for AI scripts. Now just to be clear, this is not getting AI to script your entire videos. I do not recommend that. This is a specific workflow that lets you script videos better than you could even do yourself with all of your knowledge and the way you'd actually say things. And it takes a fraction of the time. So instead of 20 hours to script a video, it takes you 2 hours to script and record it, and it's way better than you could even do yourself. The workflow is super simple and extremely effective. So what you want to do is you want to brain dump all of the information via a voice memo. You can use something like Loom for this, which is, you can see what I used, but you can also use free tools like Whisperflow or even your computer's dictation feature. So you create this brain dump, which in this case is 20 minutes long for me, and then I take that to AI and I basically tell AI, look, here's my transcript, here's the title of a YouTube video, and I want you to go through all of this and create the YouTube script of this. Don't miss any information, take it all, use it all the information, and create the script from this. And then it just gives me the entire script using all of my specific knowledge, not missing a single thing, and it's in my voice. It literally sounds exactly like I would write it out. And by the way, the AI that I use is Claude, because it's by far the best for writing. I wouldn't recommend using ChatGPT or something else because they're not as good for writing. Now, you might think that you have to change and refine the script that it gives you, but honestly, most of the time, the first draft is what I actually run with. I adjust a couple things here and there, of course, but it's way better than I could have even scripted myself by spending 10 times longer. In fact, AI is helping me script this video right now. Now, an important point here is that your script still isn't written by AI. It's still your video, your knowledge, your voice. You're just leveraging AI to get it out faster and better so you can put more time into what actually matters, which is making the best video possible. Now, let's move on to C, which is cut the editing. There's this common misconception that amazing editing is what makes videos succeed, but editing is actually low leverage, especially in educational niches. In educational content, people are there for value, and heavy editing actually makes the videos worse because you've got all these effects flying around everywhere while you're trying to explain something, and the viewer just can't focus on what actually matters. So what works better is raw, either completely raw or just cutting out your mistakes and then adding in some screenshots here and there with text to support your points. The only time that you'll actually need visuals is to help the viewer understand complex concepts or to show proof like results and screenshots. But that's it. Animated swooshes and sound effects, these things do not help. And some people skip editing entirely by using a free software like Miro, which is a tool that allows you to visualize everything on a board and walk through it while recording, so you don't even need editing to have visuals. Within the past year, we've definitely entered this age of YouTube where nobody really cares for editing the same way that they used to. And so now is the best time more than ever to realize that you don't need to have good editing and stop letting that restrict you from seeing growth in your YouTube channel, because it just doesn't matter. So at this point, you've gone through the whole cycle: idea, script, record, edit, upload. And the last part here is K, which is keep doing what works. When a video succeeds on YouTube and does outstandingly well, 10 times better than the other videos, that is a signal to do it again, because people liked it that much more than the average video. So what you want to do is you want to do that again with improvements and focus on how can I make this video better than the last one that I did. And you can expect that to perform at least just as well, but probably way better. You want to double down on your winners each time and figure out how can I make this video better than the last. I recommend following the 50-50 rule. So when a format works, 50% of uploads double down on that winner, and 50% stay new where you're testing new ideas and formats. And sometimes you end up with multiple winners, and then that just becomes most of your content strategy. You do this until they stop working, and then you pull back and find new winners. And that's the Slack framework, the laziest but the most effective way to grow your YouTube channel. Now, if you want to go deeper on any of this, then click this video here, because I break down everything that's working on YouTube right now in way more detail. I'll see you over there.